Hey there, Nancy Drew Clue Crew. Argle Flump here
Come on
with
in,
the
Nancy.
Speedrun
The door's
for
open.
Nancy Drew. Stay tuned for danger. There's a lot of crazy things which happen in this speedrun. I hope I can explain them all. First, we begin by switching to nighttime in order to avoid Maddie while we go into her sitting room. That way we can use her TV to watch a video, which I am grabbing from a different save file. That is a glitch which was discovered earlier this year by me. It works for the first two Nancy Drew games. You can move an inventory item from any save file to another save file, provided that the item is on your cursor when you're navigating the Save Load Game menu. A very useful glitch because it saves a lot of time. You know, there are several things you have to do in order to get that blue videotape normally. By glitching it into your inventory at the start of the game, it's a huge time saver. Now this right here is a different glitch. This is a phone glitch. So the way it works is that you call one of the phone numbers that was in the first game, but is not in this game. So that would be Jake's Locker, the judo place, the pizza place, any of those phone numbers work. You call that phone number, and then the phone system just kind of wigs out because it knows that it should play an audio file, but the audio file isn't there because it's the wrong game and it's not sure what to do, so it just throws you into a conversation with Lillian. Now, I do that in order to avoid that opening conversation with Maddie. You're supposed to start the game by talking to Maddie for about 2 minutes. She tells you about the case, she gives you her keys, and she gives you the address to WWB Studios. So by skipping that 2-minute conversation, I save a lot of time. It takes about 15 seconds to do the phone glitch. So it does save a good amount of time. It's a time saver to always get to WWB through that glitch, as opposed to sitting through the opening conversation. Now, Maddie was one of the more difficult things of the speedrun. Wait, I'll talk about her later. Okay, so with the visitor's pass that I'm getting here, you might be wondering, Michael, why don't you just glitch all the inventory items into your inventory at the very beginning of the game?
Places, everyone.
Well,
Are
that
we
was a
locked
good
in?
example
Yes,
of
Miss
why.
Weiss, we're clear to
It
shoot.
takes 9 to
Have
10
we locked
seconds
this
in
already?
order to glitch an item
Yes,
into your
I think.
inventory.
Quiet on the
It
set.
takes about 8 to 9
floor
seconds
ready?
to
Check
get the access
audio.
card the normal
Check.
way. So it's a
Rotate.
time saver just to
Stand
get
by,
it like
camera one.
normal.
Stand by music.
Take camera
So
one.
reason number 2 why I
Rory,
don't glitch
I have to
items
talk
into
to
my
you.
inventory at the
I
start
don't
of
want
the
to
game
see
is
you,
because
Serena.
some of them actually
No, Rory,
crash
don't
the
go.
game if you get them
I
too
love
early.
you.
I don't want to see you,
Specifically,
Serena.
the access card you get from Dwayne Powers. If you glitch that into your game here at the
Sheesh,
start,
what was
it will
that?
kill
I
the
could have been
conversations
killed.
with Maddie, and
Get
you
my
won't be
agent
able
on
to
the
talk to
phone
her.
now.
Which is a problem because you actually do need to talk to her in
Clear
order
it out,
to
everybody.
beat the game.
That's a wrap for today.
It's locked.
So I actually have to play the game as intended just for this beginning part, otherwise Maddie will crash. So that's why I talk to Maddie, then I do the soap opera scene, I watch that soap opera scene, and then I talk to Maddie after that. So there are about 3 or 4 different conversations you can have with Maddie. You can have one where you just got hired, you can have one right after you defuse the bomb, and you need to have the 2, which is right before the soap opera scene and right after the soap opera scene. So doing them out of order, like I said, it will completely glitch the game. You can skip 1, but you can't skip 2. Otherwise the game just dies on you. Back to what's actually happening right now in the game itself. What I did was I glitched that key over from a different save file, and that is a huge time saver. Normally what you're supposed to do is go to the prop room. So that will give you the clippers, and it will give you a puzzle, which leads to another puzzle, which gets you that key. So by glitching the key and the clippers into my inventory, I save a lot of time, because I don't have to do the prop room anymore. I can just completely skip the entire prop room segment. And that's sort of why I made my save file, the glitching save file, the picture of the picture of the prop room lady, just because it's the only time you're going to see her in this
It's open.
speedrun. Okay, so like I said, the conversations with Maddie, you have to have the conversation before and after the soap opera scene. And then one of the other two conversations, either the you just got hired by Dwayne conversation or the you just defused the bomb conversation. Now, you actually do have to talk to Dwayne in order to, Oh, wait, there's a glitch that just happened there. So if you double-click on Maddie's, makeup thing, that will totally allow you to get directly into Dwayne's office. No idea why that's the case, but that is, in fact, how it works. So where was I? With the Maddie Dwayne stuff. So you absolutely do have to talk to Dwayne here in order to have the conversation with Maddie. You can't just glitch Dwayne's card into your inventory, because if you do that, Maddie just will not talk to you again unless you've talked to Dwayne first. And so we kind of have to have this 2-minute conversation. I don't think it's 2 minutes long, but it's still a long conversation, just so I can have another conversation with Maddie. So I'll talk more about talking to Maddie in just a minute. Let me talk about something which is coming up. The bomb scene in Rick's room. If you've played the game yourself, you know this happens about 2/3 of the way through the game. The way to trigger the bomb is to have the screwdriver in your inventory, which I have here, to watch the blue videotape, which I glitched into my inventory at the start of the game, and I watched it there. And you need to have the clippers. So those are the three things. You watch the blue videotape, you have the screwdriver, and you have the clippers. So that is what triggers the bomb sequence. And once you do the bomb sequence, you get the phone call from Bill Pappas, which will allow you to sneak into the studio at nighttime. That's basically the only reason why you want to do the bomb sequence.
Taxi!
Where can I take you today, miss?
Now I need... Now you'll notice I'm doing a lot of inventory shuffling right here. It's kind of difficult for me to shuffle my inventory around, because I want to get all these items at the top of my inventory so I can use them as soon as possible. But I don't want to waste time, playing around with my inventory. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, conversation with Lillian here. This is the legitimate version of that conversation. We see the conversation when we glitch into Lillian's office, but this is how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to talk to her right after the soap opera scene, and she steals your access card. So now I'm going to talk to her about Owen Spader. You need to talk to Lillian about Owen Spader. You need to talk to Maddie about Owen Spader. So that was why I did all that stuff, and, I looked at Owen Spader's name tag. I just did that all so I could trigger these conversations about Owen. You need to have those two conversations about Owen. You need to look at the two things inside Dwayne's briefcase. You need to look up Owen on Lillian's computer and print out that security report on Lillian's computer. All of those things I just listed are things you need to do to trigger the end of game phone call. If you've played this game, you know that you get a phone call at the end of the game from Lillian. So the way to trigger it is do all those things, and I'll repeat them. Let's see, you read the security report in Lillian's office, you look up Owen Spader on Lillian's computer, you talk to Maddie about Owen Spader, you talk to Lillian about Owen Spader, and... what was the final one? Look at the things inside Dwayne's briefcase. Those are all the things you need to do to trigger the end of game conversation. Now you can't get into Lillian's office until it's nighttime, until you can sneak around the studio at nighttime. So that means you have to do this bomb sequence first. You basically do the bomb sequence in order to make it possible for you to sneak into Lillian's. So you might have noticed that you don't actually hear any of the characters talking, and this is why. It is mainly for this conversation with Bill Pappas. By turning off all of the character voices, I managed to skip directly through that conversation very, very quickly. Normally it takes like 3 minutes. It took me about 2 seconds there. What you do is you pretend to be Brenda Carlton, the reporter, and he gets mad and he just hangs up on you. Very fast way through that conversation. So this is the second videotape. It's faster to just pick up the videotape while you're exploring the control room. Otherwise, I would have glitched the videotape here, you know, into my inventory at the very start of the game and then watch it at the start of the game. Now, if you do that, it saves you like an extra trip, I believe. But, you know, it's not that much of a time saver because, well, you know, we kind of get thrown back into Maddie's apartment anyway after the Bill Papa scene. Anyway, I am just kind of babbling here. So, you might be wondering, I said earlier, you know, you have to explore Lillian's computer at midnight. You might be saying, well, gee, can't you just switch to night and just glitch your way into Lillian's room? No, actually, because that Lillian conversation that you glitched into is a daytime conversation. The game assumes it's daytime, so what you have to do is leave the building and return in order to make it nighttime again. Yep. So you absolutely do have to do the bomb sequence in order to trigger that passcode so you can sneak into here at night. You can't just glitch into it at night, even though technically it's during nighttime already, and sometimes you get weird stuff that happens with this game because it knows it's night and it thinks it's daytime, even though it knows it's nighttime. So that would be why those studio doors were closed, even though it was kind of daytime. I don't know, weirdness. Anyway, okay, I read the report. What you're supposed to do is notice, oh my gosh, Owen Spader was here during all of those incidents. Oh no!
Hey, taxi!
Where to, lady?
Now we're going back to Maddie's for
Lexington
that
Avenue, please.
final
On my
phone
way.
call. Again, we're just gonna skip it. Skip through that phone call because we've turned off the conversations. And Lillian asks us to meet her at the place at night. So, fun fact, if you have the access card in your inventory and you do this glitch, she will steal that access card from your inventory. She legitimately steals it from you. And now we go outside to convince the game that it is true nighttime and not just fake nighttime. If I try to, you know, open the studio right now, you know, without going outside, it will be empty. But you have to go outside and go back in order to have this conversation with Lillian. So this is the fastest way through the conversation. Fastest way is to accuse Dwayne. Because if you accuse one of the other people, Lillian says, what? How? What? I thought it was... And then you have that... You know, you have that... Whatever you call it. Lillian says a sentence if you accuse somebody else than Dwayne. So it's faster, obviously, to just accuse Dwayne. This scene goes a lot faster now that we don't have, you know, that opening minute or so where Dwayne talks while the screen is completely in darkness. And this is going to be the end game challenge right now. It's the exact same thing as it normally is. You go straight to the exit, you pull the fire alarm, and then you do the exit puzzle.
Open up in there! Open up! Places, everyone!
Yeah, this not opening puzzle. This ending puzzle is kind of difficult. But you'll notice I had super good luck with that puzzle. Oh my gosh. Wow, I got like 4 or 5 things in a row. That's amazing and never happens.
Time's up! It's curtains.
In fact, you'll notice I kind of hesitated because, you know, I expected I would get that third thing wrong. I was so surprised, I hesitated for a second.
Congratulations, Nancy. You've solved the
Okay,
case.
so that
go,
is the
Ralph.
speedrun for Nancy Drew.
Forget
Stay tuned for
about it.
Danger. I
Dwayne's
hope
in
you
the right
enjoyed it.
hands
I
now.
managed to
Case
beat the game
closed.
in
Dear
14
Bess,
minutes, 17
another
seconds.
mystery solved.
It starts
Dwayne
from
is now
when
awaiting
I
trial for his
choose
attempted
difficulty
murder
setting,
and
and it
has
ends when this
publicly
ending letter
apologized for his
plays.
crimes. Lillian has moved out to California and is
So
directing
thank you
her
very much
first
for
film.
watching. I hope
But
you
the best
enjoyed
news is
watching
about Maddie and
my
Rick.
speedrun.
They
Can the
finally
speedrun be
decided to
improved?
tie the knot.
Yeah, I imagine
Well,
if you're
as
really good
Serena
at
and
clicking,
Roy.
you can get
But
the
who
game
knows?
down to
Perhaps
under
it'll
14
rub
minutes.
off
That
on
would be a
them.
great
There's always
time.
hope. Love, Nancy.
So thank you very much for watching. Stay sleuthy, everyone.